Podcast Champs with Damian G and Dio. You can find us on Twitter, myself at Damon G347 and Dio at I'm Just DEO.
That is I.
That is you. You are my freezing brother right now because
bro, this weather is for the birds and other animals that can deal with this. I do not like this. I am tropical. I am not made for the snow or the cold weather at all. Anything below like 50 degrees, I'm not happy.
My brother, you know I can commiserate and empathize at the same time because being a Latino man, I am used to warmer temps. Right. And let the record state that I left New York partly because I did not want to deal with the cold air. So why in the hell was it 32 degrees here in Dallas the last couple of days?
It's gross.
That's just disgusting. That's against everything I ever stand for.
It's so gross.
But we know what else is gross? The fact that we don't get Becky versus Ronda.
No. So here's the thing. I don't think that's gross, actually.
Well, I wanted to see it. I guess you disagree, but there's one thing we can agree on. The fact that everybody, it seems, and their mama is coming after Nia Jax right about now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of the right hand heard round the wrestling world.
Right.
And you and I have seen it, seen the clip. Everybody and their mama has.
Yep.
And not going to lie, straight up punch.
Oh, it's absolutely a straight up punch. Like that was a closed fist with follow through punch. That was a
Falcon punch, dude.
That was absolutely. And in not gonna say that like give her an excuse or anything like that. That was absolutely should not have happened. Right? Absolutely should not have happened. And on some ways I can understand like how some folks in like a chaotic moment like that, even though this is a scripted art form, like I absolutely see somebody turning around and just washing somebody in it.
Right.
I could see that happening. Shouldn't happen though. But like just seeing how people have reacted the past few days and not seeing, and the other thing too is like people not seeing the bigger picture, not seeing the silver lining either. And not seeing how this actually grows Becky Lynch, like the mythos of Becky Lynch, right? Like this is because we got one of the most one of the best rebuttals that I've seen in any format, period. Like the comeback that she had for Ronda Rousey was like that was the bridge is over. No Vaseline, like the bitch in you, Ether, super ugly, takeover. It was all of them combined. Like
for those that don't know what Dio is talking about, those are all really diss tracks that are not even fire. They are just historically eviscerating type diss tracks. Yeah. So that is why he's making that reference.
Yeah, like it is. This was, and Becky's been on fire, like just period. But yes, back to the whole Nia Jax thing. And even with her response that she had, it made sense to go that route. I mean, that's what heels do every single time something like this happens in the ring, right?
Yes.
And does Nia have a higher frequency of injuring people or being involved with times where people got injured? Yep, definitely has, right?
Yes. And
it's one of those things because we saw, and part of why I think the blowback is as bad as it is, we had a similar situation, 2 months ago with Brie Bella and Liv Morgan.
Yes, we did.
So there's something that happens when it's people that folks already don't like, right? When it's people that when it's performers that people already don't have, it's not one of their faves, or it's somebody that it's, the popular opinion is to quote unquote hate on them. Automatically, if they do anything wrong, it's going to be amplified to like 1,000-fold, right? And we saw that happen when Brie Bella, people were calling for her, she needs to quit, and this is that and the other, blah, 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 blah. And in that situation, like nobody was really looking at what actually happened, right? It was one of those situations where everybody that was involved, everybody that had experience with either throwing those types of kicks, because like if you train kickboxing or MMA, you actually, those are standard kicks that you throw all the time. And it's something where it gets fired off rapidly. And there is no, outside of a select few like fighters at like the highest levels, if a kick is thrown and it's already left the ground and somebody ducks into it, it's going to be hard for them to pull that back. Like it is what it is, right? But folks were, the pitchforks came out. Same thing happened here with Nia. Like people haven't liked Bree for a long time. You know, she's not the most talented in the ring. I'll be the first to admit that. Yes. You know, Nikki, if you're going to put the two Bellas, compare the two, Nikki is head, shoulders, knees, and toes above Brie when it comes to in-ring work, right?
Yes.
And so people already didn't like her. And with Nia, from the get-go, this is not like a kindness. This was from the get-go that she premiered on WWE television at all. And I'm talking back in the days of when she was in Adam Rose's party line thing or whatever the hell it is.
The Rosebuds.
The Rosebuds, right? Like when she showed up, I remember seeing comments that were like flat out, "Who's this fat bitch?" You know, in the conga line.
Yep.
That was before she even like debuted in ring. When she showed up in ring, same thing. Who's this fat bitch? And it was, and I'm saying that because that's what people were saying. It wasn't oh yeah, who's this larger woman? No, it was flat out, who's this fat bitch that's on TV? So one, she was a body type that people already do not like, because when it comes to Western standards of beauty, she's not it when it comes to size.
Yes.
Right. And she's also not the body type that Vince McMahon has pushed for the past 30 years. So correct. You already had that against you. Two, she's a woman of color.
That is true too.
Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter whether it's Zelina. Doesn't matter whether it's
who Naomi, she's concussed, by the way.
Who she's concussed, by the way. Doesn't matter if it's Foxy. Doesn't matter if it's Naomi. Doesn't matter who it is. Go into any of the videos, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. You are always, and I mean always, going to find negative, very racist comments on pictures and posts anytime it happens. So it's not like it's maybe this is, no, it's absolutely an issue. And, you know, when it comes to people of color, sadly, we tend to get it a lot worse when things mess up. Lastly, she's related to The Rock. When people found out that she was related to The Rock, automatically it became, she is just getting this because she's related to The Rock. She didn't earn this. She didn't earn that. She didn't earn this. She didn't earn that. And I was like, okay, where was all this energy when Charlotte first came out? Because Charlotte wasn't the greatest for it took Charlotte a long time, because everybody keeps on bringing up the thing of, Nia is, you know, she's only been around for what, like 2 years now or so? 3 years?
3 years.
Right. So it took Charlotte a solid 3 or 4 years before she became who she is in the ring now, right? She didn't have the greatest matches when she was in NXT around the same time span that Nia has been around. It took a long time to get to that. Never did we see, of course, you know, she didn't like knock anybody out or anything like that. But when she didn't have great performances, you didn't see the type of vitriol that you see when Nia messes up. Nia could just simply, like, you know, go to kick someone and miss. You know, it might be a few inches shorter than it's supposed to be. You will see just a fucking train of people that will jump on it on Twitter. And it's like, yeah, go ahead.
Let me jump in real quick. Because I'm in the chat right now and a couple of people are bringing up the fact that, you know, they didn't rush Charlotte to the main roster the way they did with Nia, which is true, because they did wait a little bit with Charlotte with the 4 horsewomen and things like that.
Right.
I personally think that, to go back to the concussing of Zelina,
Right.
I thought that was both on Nia and Tamina.
Right.
But my man Twan, was saying that was mostly on Nia because Tamina wasn't ready or she was out of place. But that's a little bit on both of them.
That's on both. Like you can't just assign if it's a move or it's a sequence where there are multiple people involved, it's usually never on just one person.
Right. And Tamina has been known to be a bit sloppy.
Yep.
So a lot of people let her slide because it was Nia that was perpetrating the concussion move, apparently. But people forget that Charlotte, when she wrestled Sasha at, I don't know what SummerSlam it was a couple of years ago, where she had her up on like the top or middle turnbuckle and just straight up dropped her.
Yeah.
And couldn't get the move down right. Or when they were doing the Hell in the Cell match, Charlotte couldn't break the table. So with Sasha, and then she did it again, and Sasha's not that big, you know. So to do that kind of bump multiple times, but even then, you didn't see everybody with the pitchforks talking about Charlotte's the worst. She needs to go back to developmental. If it wasn't for, and we do hear if she wasn't Ric Flair's daughter, ...
Right.
But she has the talent and not so much the backing anymore. I feel that her being Rick's daughter is a little bit ancillary at this point.
Right.
And I'm okay to put that on the back burner. But with the Nia thing, I went back and I rewatched this punch, dude, at least 4 or 5 times. And you know what that punch looked like? That looked like someone who wasn't ready for someone to come up behind them.
And got hit. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me.
And straight up just reacted and pop. Because I have been guilty of doing that when people surprise me out of nowhere. Right. Where I'm not expecting someone to grab me from behind or touch me when I'm not looking. And I just straight up hit first, ask questions second.
Right.
So on that regard, I was willing to give Nia the benefit of the doubt because that looked like who the F, boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, granted, she had a lack of spatial awareness because you're in a room full of fellow wrestlers, and you would think this ain't a street fight. So you would think to try to hold back a little bit, but you can probably answer this a little better than I can. There was a lot of follow through with that strike, man. That was a straight up, like we were talking about, that's a street fight punch. That's an MMA follow through style punch.
Right.
So could she have pulled back a little bit?
Absolutely.
Probably. Well, but at the same token, did it look like she was trying to pull back?
No.
I don't see that either.
Nah, that looked like in the chaos of the situation, it looked like, okay, we're actually fighting here, right? Like it absolutely did. And like, it's, I'm not going to make any excuse for that punch whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Like that was absolutely a bad incident. But like how folks are calling for people to get fired and, like all of the extra that has come about. It's like, all right, really? This is, like this is, and I think I've stated this many times, being that pro wrestling fans have had to suspend disbelief for so long, they kind of don't know, they don't differentiate the real and the fake.
Yes.
Like, can almost guarantee that Lena Fanane went back and apologized to Rebecca Quinn after this happened.
Yeah,
right?
you know that. Yes,
absolutely. Like there is no way that happened. And then like, so the other thing too was when Nia stepped into the line of fire, which I loved, when, she went out there and like posted the picture of her hand being messed up. Like it, it was great. Like seeing how that happened, like that was the best, like that was like, one of
that
the
was
best
that was like a troll specific move right there where no one's asking about my hand. And yes, she did it in character, guys. And gals.
Right.
It wasn't that she went on Twitter, to go and be like, well, too bad, so sad.
It's kind of like the Tegan Knox situation with Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
Right? Like
she's been trolling her since the minute she injured her knee.
Right. Like y'all, like that's that these people live in like the same apartment complex. Basically, like they wouldn't be surprised if they see each other on a daily basis.
Yeah.
This isn't this isn't like, I think people get stuck in this thing where like they've heard so many tales of people having heat on the roads back in the 1970s and 80s. This ain't the 1970s, 80s, or 90s anymore, right? Like this is not, these people weren't out here, you know, having beefs with people trying to, you know, potato each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, like people, yes, you do see where they write in receipts, like when with the whole Liv Morgan situation when she got to come back and slap the taste out of Bree's mouth. But like, yeah, it's just with the whole, you know, and the other thing too that y'all need to remember is the WWE runs everything that these people do. They can't just go on like, so if you've ever listened to like the WWE conference calls, especially if they have performers.
Yeah,
they have things, they tell you what you can say, what you can't say. Like a lot of them have been trained, like you get PR training. So like if you're a recording artist or a movie star, you have PR training before you go into anything. The people in the WWE have to do the same thing. Like this is, you know, anytime they have to post stuff on Twitter, there's a reason why you'll see, you know, when the WWE is talking about somebody, you know, some legend coming back, that everybody tweets about it. Or anytime there's a situation, you know, there's a new an event to come up. Do you think these people just tweet about it because they want to tweet about it? No, there's a reason why everybody on the roster ends up promoting the stuff, because they get told to do that, right? These aren't their personal Twitter accounts until after they leave the WWE.
Right.
So like that's one of the things y'all have to remember. Like all of this stuff is still scripted. Like this isn't like,
it's still corporate. No matter which way we slice it, it's still corporate.
Right. This isn't like MMA where, you know, two people were sparring and somebody got hit too much and then they have legit beef because these people are actual fighters.
Yes.
This isn't that.
So all in all, I think personally, and another thing that that's really gotten my goat a little bit is it seems that wrestlers like to pick and choose when they defend versus when they don't defend someone. Because you know, we talked about the Liv Morgan situation with Brie Bella. Mm-hmm. You know, accidents happen, but the only wrestler I have publicly seen, maybe I'm wrong, probably am, but the one I've with the most, I guess, clout defending Nia is Lance Storm.
Right.
You know, and he's a big proponent of women's wrestling, so I'm not surprised.
Right.
But at the same token, I've seen a lot of, especially independent female wrestlers, have taken to social media to throw their 3 cents in.
Yep.
You know, about Nia. That's what happens when you don't go to the indies. That's what happens when you don't have proper training at a real developmental school before you hit the performance center. You know, and there's one in particular. I'm not gonna say her name, but I followed a quick thread of hers, and it was just her. I don't know if it's hating. I don't know if it's critiquing Nia Jax, but my girl, homegirl, y'all need to relax. Like, just because you didn't get signed, I get that it may seem unfair on the surface, but there's a reason you ain't get signed.
Right.
You know, you've had 4 tryouts. This person has had 4 tryouts, from what I know, and hasn't gotten signed.
Right.
So you know what? Shh.
Right.
Zip
probably like you should probably just chill on this. Like it's, and like should she get more training? Yeah. If you show that you have a proclivity to like hitting people and like kind of being sloppy or what have you, yeah, go back, do the extra work to get where you need to go, to the level that you need to be at. Definitely. Right. But like the way that people go about it though, it's like, all right, you're not really helping anybody in this situation when you go about stuff the way that you are. Right. Like, especially if you have somebody who couldn't make it in the system, even to get into the system. And when you go on like this long rant about something, it always looks bad on you.
And on the other hand, I don't want to Yeah. On the other hand, I don't want to sit here and absolve Nia Jax from everything.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Because you said at the beginning of Podcast Champs, and you're listening to it with my boy Dio, myself, Damien G, she has a body count.
Yeah.
You know, and in the chat right now, you know, Twan Mack said that Sean Ross Sapp kind of, you know who he is, right, Dio?
Yeah.
And he broke the story about Becky being pulled. And according to him, a lot of girls don't like working with Nia. They complain amongst themselves about it.
Right.
Because I've noticed she's gone through 5 different finishers since her time at NXT.
Right.
And she can't get any of them right.
Yeah.
It's gone from a regular Samoan drop to a Hogan-esque leg drop. Right. They tried to give her some weird like Ryback press slam into a gorilla slam, like into a power slam. That didn't work. So she hasn't been able to land the moves properly. Yes, she is sloppy. Yeah, she is a little uncoordinated in the ring. And yes, I'll be the first to admit I'm a little bummed, like I said at the top of the show, that there will be no Becky versus Ronda. But from what I've been hearing today, now it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, whatever. I was not looking forward to this at all. Like, the simple fact that they threw this together in 2 weeks.
Right.
And like all signs were pointing to Becky Lynch eating a submission
eating that
loss.
Fat L. Yeah, eating that
she was
fat
gonna
L.
eat that L, and I'm like, sorry, you guys, like that would have killed every single bit of momentum that she had.
Right.
Because no matter from then on, she couldn't say anything to Ronda Rousey, because if she went in and lost, and knowing the damn WWE, it would have been absolutely and ridiculously, it would have been, because it seems like they are going to want to emulate Ronda Rousey's ascent in MMA, which was armbarring people within, 30 seconds to a minute and a half of every single fight that she was in. And if you did that to Becky Lynch, that's it, is game over. Like she couldn't all these witty comebacks and stuff that she has now would have held. There would have been no gravity to them whatsoever.
And on that same token, I love that it allows Becky to continue trolling.
Yep.
To build her star power a little bit more. The rumor apparently to Uncle Dave Meltzer was Becky versus Ronda was supposed to go on as the main event of Survivor Series, which I think it would have been a really good main event just for the marquee purposes.
Yeah, for the marquee, absolutely.
Yeah. But now apparently I'm a little happy about this, because we were supposed to get, as fans, Charlotte versus Ronda at WrestleMania. That was apparently what they were building to this whole time.
Which is, ugh.
But now we get to waste it on Survivor Series now that nobody gives a crap about Survivor Series. Because, personally, do you give a crap about it?
Nobody. So here's the thing. Even with that marquee fight, it still was a throwaway pay-per-view.
It was a 4 out of 10, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it was still a throwaway. So like people are acting like Survivor Series has been this big deal in the past decade. Survivor Series has not meant anything since the mid-90s. The mid to late 90s was the last time that Survivor Series meant a damn. That's
true.
So we can't act like people that are acting like this was just like an affront to, the sanctity of SummerSlam. No, or not SummerSlam, but Survivor Series. Like, this has been something that they just kind of threw stuff on for a long time now. Right. And like the past few years, it hasn't been that great. It's been like, there was a point in which like it almost wasn't even going to happen one year, I think, or something like that. Like it is, like this is something that's been on, like it's a back burner. It's kind of like how they make up these new pay-per-view names. It's on the same level as those ones. Like when there was like Great Balls of Fire and stuff like that. Like it's on that level when, they don't really care.
Well, do you remember the reason why Survivor Series came to fruition in the first place?
I do not remember exactly why.
It was to extend the feud of Andre and Hulk.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Because you had the WWF champion always on a team, like every single title holder was on the team. So since it was one of the big 4 pay-per-views, you literally had title defense breaks between SummerSlam and the Royal Rumble.
Right.
House shows don't count because barring catastrophic things, title changes never happen at house shows. Occasionally only.
Shout out to Finn Balor.
Yeah. So that was like a way to get Hogan some rest and Andre some rest. Right. They did the same thing with Warrior when Warrior was doing his ascension. They had Hogan and Warrior standing in the ring together, but they didn't touch each other at the Rumble. It's like it was meant to build up stories for Mania season.
Right.
Now, personally, I used to think that Survivor Series was great for tag team wrestling because you would have every tag team and their mama, 20 tag teams for a 10-minute match. It was the one time I remember, and I'm dating myself here, 1988, sorry. The Young Stallions.
Wow, he's taking it back.
The original Conquistadors.
Yeah.
You had the Rockers, the Bolsheviks. That's what I mean. You had these generic tag teams in these tag team elimination matches. Like if you saw SmackDown this past Tuesday, they had Primo and Epico backstage on SmackDown.
Which I was like, they still have jobs? Really? They still
I think, exactly. And why do they not have shirts on? Like, why are they like just chilling backstage with no shirts? Like typical Latino gangsters. Like, I don't know.
It was like, what is like when they showed up on, I was like, one, y'all still go here? Like,
you didn't graduate yet? You still go to this high school?
This high school. It was like, two. Why are y'all back here with those shirts on? Like,
but that's
not just those shirts on, but y'all are glistening at that. Like,
true. It's like they sprayed themselves with the Rico Suave, or they sprayed themselves down with Lanny Lane's Absolution back in the day.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I took it there. But that for me, that was the only redeeming factor of Survivor Series.
Right.
But now it's, as Twan is saying in the chat, Money in the Bank is the new 4th Big 4.
Definitely, yeah.
And it's kind of replaced Survivor Series where it's more like a B show, because you don't want to have an A show, a B show, and then an A show to the Rumble. You kind of want to have 2 B shows leading to the Rumble now, unless there are stakes involved, like a few years ago where you debuted Sting, to help out Team Cena against the Authority. But other than that, what other Survivor Series moments in the last 10 years can you say?
Can you even remember?
Right, off the top of your head.
Right, like can you go back to certain points of stuff that you can actually remember? And there really aren't any.
Yeah, I can.
So like that's one of those things where it's like it's like, all right, everything that these people were talking about when it comes to what we're losing and what we're missing out on is like, huh? Who said that? Like, since when are we going to be missing out on some monumental thing? This hasn't been a cornerstone of WWE programming in a very long time, So like y'all gotta let that go, because it was just like it was one of those super faulty arguments that a lot of people had, and like it was just like, and then seeing the wrestlers that did come through, because like to defense and such, what was it, Ryback? I was like, God, I kind of agree with him, even though Brian Alvarez actually does have was a wrestler on the indies way back.
Recently he did wrestle Marco Stunt, that Black Label Pro.
Well, yeah, that's like wrestling a child. So which we are against. But
we have gone on record in saying wrestling children is no bueno.
Bad. It's bad, and you should feel bad if you enjoy it.
By the way, now that I'm on the subject really quick, what are your thoughts on Marco Stunt?
I do not like the fact that he's just essentially like the industry's crash dummy. I don't. It's because like a lot of the bumps that I see him taking, like that's a very quick way to get hurt, right? Yes. Like it is. I understand that folks love this, and he probably loves what he's doing, but like seeing how fucked up wrestlers' bodies are when they're in like their late 30s, that's a ooh, you probably shouldn't have taken that bump. Like, and the thing is, Marco Stunt's never going to be anything outside of the indies. Like he would be at most, you know, they would use him on, you know, like if he was around when Braun Strowman first came around.
Oh yeah, he'd be one of the Strowman jobbers for sure.
He'd be a Strowman jobber, right? Like that would have been his ceiling. Like he wouldn't have even stayed around as, you know, an Ellsworth type of thing, because he doesn't really have anything going for him like how Ellsworth had with no chin and so on and so forth, right? Yes. But like, yeah, like it's just being a designated crash dummy. Just that's a bad look, because it seems like every time he goes to a new promotion, he has to try to one up what he did prior, and eventually that's going to lead to a bad situation. And we just saw Joey Ryan get fucked up. We just, you know, we saw Joey Janela is sidelined for however long he's going to be off for. So it's like, this is, I don't like anybody I don't really like the whole style of risk taking these days.
The crash test dummy?
Crash test dummy. Like being the Jeff Hardy of the early 2000s and late 90s. Like we know what this does to your body. We know what this does to your brain now. Like, sure, yeah, you're gonna take the bumps as safely as possible, but that adds up very quickly.
Yeah. So switching gears really fast, because I've said my piece on Marco Stunt a few times. I'll say it really quick. He looks odd, like in ring, like he looks awkward in the ring, and he is nothing but a glorified crash test dummy. You are absolutely right. I saw him at All In. And that spot with Brian Cage was cool, but I don't need Brian Cage to be throwing me halfway across the world. That's just me. But now that we've established that Survivor Series is going to suck, because even if they gave Shinsuke and Seth 30 minutes, it's still not going to be anything, and that makes me very sad.
Right.
NXT, are you how excited are you for NXT in the first place for Takeover War Games?
I actually like the fact that there's going to be less matches.
Only four,
because we're actually going to because they're getting to the point now with these matches where they need that time, right? You don't always have to have 4 matches or what have you, or 5 matches or 6 matches or 7 matches on a card. You don't need that all the time. It's like this old formula that the WWE has, where you have specific types of matches and then you have to have a cool down and this, that, and the other. Nah, sometimes we just want to go full throttle through the whole damn thing. And like this, they're going to have that time. Like I want to be at the edge of my seat, and this card is absolutely one that is going to have me on the edge of my seat. So
I'm with you on that, because I did a Damon G show with Melissa earlier this week, and we were both saying that because NXT is essentially a super indie, that these matches are going to be exciting.
Yeah.
And we also talked about the fact that NXT in general may be quote unquote developmental, but the house show circuit really is the developmental portion of NXT.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
When you make TV, that's the brand.
Right.
You know, if you're doing regular TV spots, you are on the third brand.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's why all 4 of these matches, even the stuff they're probably going to pre-tape, Riddle versus Ono.
Right.
Again, indie strength. It was strong indie caliber matches.
Right.
And I'm all for it. But I'm thinking that War Games match is going to go at least 45 minutes.
Easily. Like, so as we'll say what the card is. At the top, you've got Tommaso Ciampa versus Velveteen Dream, which
I'm really not looking forward to.
I am.
You know my stance.
I know. I am for the theatrics of it.
Yes.
I think so. Just like how I said last time with how Velveteen Dream pulls great promos out of other people. Tommaso Ciampa pulls great matches out of other people. Because I'm gonna be real with you, I really don't like what's his face all that much, Johnny Gargano. Like he is the unsalted saltine of the group. Like it is to me, he's just always kind of been bland. And his greatest matches that he's had have been with Ciampa,
and Almas.
Yeah,
really? You didn't like the Almas matches?
I didn't like him in the match. I liked Almas in the match. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
because I love Almas. I'm just saying. Okay,
Almas, like, CN is great, and to see that he's getting a platform on the main roster now, even if he's losing, just the simple fact that people get to see it. He got to wrestle. So happy for him that he got to wrestle probably one of his idols on one of the biggest stages in the world. What? Yeah. Amazing. But yeah, no, like, Gargano's just always kind of been like, milk toast to me. So
milk toast is a great word.
So then we have Aleister Black versus Johnny Gargano. That one, I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna go. Like, it could be or it could be really, really great, but we'll see.
You know what? This might be a hot take, but I don't really care for Aleister Black.
I don't like tweener Aleister Black. I want him to be dickhead Tommy End. Like, just let him, like, I understand they want to go against the grain of what he looks like. Just lean into it, damn it. Just lean into it. Like, if it's naturally there, just lean into it.
To be fair, I never saw Tommy End, so this is all new to me. So I think if he was more of a douche on the indies, that's fine. But me personally, I've just never bought it. Beside the mystique, I've never really bought into Aleister Black as this can't miss, WWE super champ that they're foreseeing him to be. I've also never been a Johnny Gargano guy. I always said it would have been better to flip Tommaso and him originally and have Ciampa be this ass-kicking tweener face with Johnny being the douchey Roderick Strong style heel.
Right.
Even back when they wrestled at the Cruiserweight Classic a couple years ago.
Right.
I'm with you. Johnny's good in ring, silky smooth, but you know who he is? He's a lighter in weight version of Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
With
minus
less
the cool shit. Yeah, minus all the cool shit. Like, Roderick Strong, hands down, has the best flying knee in pro wrestling.
Yes, agreed.
Period. Like, I forgot what it is. It was an episode that they had. They were gonna face some jobbers, and he must have flew about a solid 20 feet when he ran for that knee. It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And so this is who Gargano is. Since we talk about video games on here a lot.
Yes.
He is Ryu and he is Kyo from King of Fighters. Bland, generic babyface good guy character. I want to be the strongest in the world type, but doesn't really have any, like, they're always going to focus the story around them, but they don't necessarily really have all that much character compared to the other people on the roster.
Okay.
Like, even look at, like, matter of fact, King of Fighters is a better one to say, because sorry for this video game side that we're going on now.
This is normal. We do this all the time.
So absolutely, in this, Kyo is Johnny Gargano.
Yes.
Ciampa is hands down Iori.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, definitely.
Right. Like, that's who they are. And, like, Iori was always the cooler. Had similar, as far as, like, a similar build, a similar gameplay style, all of that stuff, but was so much better, so much cooler. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Sorry.
But that's my 2 cents. Yeah, no, and I'm with you, and I'm with you on that one, because we're both like, but overall and all in all, I can honestly say I am a staunch NXT guy. But this card does, it's exciting for what it is, but it does not, like, I am not a Velveteen guy. I am not a Gargano guy. I'm not an Aleister Black guy. To be quite honest, I'm not even a War Raiders guy.
I'm not. So, okay. So I'm glad it's not just me. Because even when they were in New Japan, like, They never connected with me. I guess that's the best way to say it. Yeah, they can do cool shit and they can do, but like they just feel like another generic barbarian type tag team, right? Yes. You know, while one of them is a big dude that can do sentons and stuff like that, it's just like in this day and age, that's not really that big of a thing, when you have someone like a Brian Cage or a Jeff Cobb, who I hope someday comes to WWE because he is amazing. But when you
we are members of the Jeff Cobb fan club, guys.
Oh, yeah. Fine. Like, yeah. I am saying I might even go as far as to say I stand it, man.
What?
But, yeah. Oh, yeah. I might be in y'all's mentions cursing y'all out one day if I ever see you say anything bad about Jeff Cobb.
No Jeff Cobb slander will be
Jeff Cobb slander on our watch. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like when you see people that are that large that are able to do lucha moves, it's like the luster of it, the appeal of it is just kind of like, it's just one of those things where it's like before, back in the day when like Bam Bam Bigelow would do a backflip, that was like the greatest goddamn thing we had ever seen because we'd never really seen a man that large do that, right? Same thing with Vader. Like we never got to see someone that large that was able to move that way. But like with War Raiders, maybe they haven't, been set up with a feud yet to really flesh out their characters. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's just nothing's really been all that great.
Right. And I never thought I'd say this, but I actually like Undisputed Era as the douchey frat guys.
I do, but I don't like Adam Cole.
I've never been an Adam Cole guy specifically, but the group functions really well as the douchey high school jocks that won't let you sit at their table.
Yeah.
Especially Kyle O'Reilly with his air guitar solos.
So great. Like
how can you not like that?
Between his air guitar and the way that he sells, like he sells comically, but it's still within the realm of possibility. Like because we're talking about video games, he sells like a video game character.
Thank you.
Like he sells like somebody in like a Street Fighter from like, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition or something like that. Like when, once they get dizzy, like he
with the birdies over his head.
Birdies, like he is super animated like that. And it's fun, right? Like he is, to me, he is the core of that group.
Oh, definitely.
Had it not been for him, a lot of the other stuff wouldn't work because you have to have like, and everybody plays their role really well in this, right? Like, thank goodness, they added Roderick Strong because when he's by himself, especially like when they had him being a weird babyface character,
he's
like,
milquetoast.
He is a charismatic void, like just a black hole that sucks in everything that is entertaining when it comes to cutting promos and whatnot. And he's always been that way on the indies too. As we've said before, on the indies, you really don't have to cut promos. They just put the Messiah of the Backbreaker versus so-and-so on a flyer, and that's it. People are going to show up, So yeah, but the other, who's the other? And then Shayna Baszler. Oh, Bobby. So, because I didn't really have that much, because I didn't watch Ring of Honor like that for a long time. Like I would tune in when people said that there was someone that I needed to watch, but it was never like a thing where I had to do it. You know what I mean? Like it was always like, I'll turn in or I'll catch it a couple weeks after it came out, or I'll watch clips here and there. But so I didn't really get to see Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, when they were becoming, Red Dragon and all this stuff, which I still hate. I don't understand the name, and it's just like to me.
And their logo was a Mortal Kombat insignia type logo.
Yeah, which I remember that, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. So yeah, like they all play their role really well, and Bobby Fish has been a dickhead in the background, and it's been perfect because he's got the little twirly handlebar mustache and all that stuff, and
Dick Dastardly.
Dick Dastardly, right? Wow, so he's Dick Dastardly, and Kyle O'Reilly is Muttley. Jesus Christ.
Can someone draw that? Let's get Cat on the horn to see.
Got to get Cat on the horn and get that.
She can draw that
because that is exactly who it is. Because Kyle O'Reilly does not talk, so it's like perfect. Exactly.
And he would do the laugh. He could do the he laugh.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Like, are they Saturday morning cartoon characters? The whole Undisputed Era?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like they are all like, you could take them and put them in like any Hanna-Barbera cartoon and it would work out perfectly. Like that, or like in the Super Mario Brothers cartoon from like the 80s.
With Captain Lou Albano?
Captain Lou Albano, yeah. Because, hey, this is pro wrestling related. So like
it all connects.
It all connects because everything is wrestling. But yeah, like everybody plays a role really well. Now, like on the other hand of this match, Pete Dunne, Ricochet, War Raiders. War Raiders, I don't know if they haven't, like, I don't know about other people. They haven't connected with me in NXT either. Was I happy to see them come to NXT? Yeah, because I wanted to see, like, because the NXT needed new blood and so on and so forth. But like we've seen with Ricochet, not the most charismatic person on earth, you know, just a whole lot of stuff.
Worth a lick.
Can't at all. Like and I don't think he's ever going to be able to fix that. Like some people got it, some people don't. Like he's one of those people that, you know, they need to stick him with a valet or a manager and just keep it pushing, or just limit his, you know, lines to whatever. Hell, just put him on 205 Live. I'd be happy with that. Just put action-packed matches on over and over and over and over again. And that's it. But like Pete Dunne, on the other hand, he don't got to say anything and just be the most charismatic man in the room.
Because he always looks like he's got diarrhea or he's constipated or one of the two, you know.
Whatever it is.
He's never perpetually grumpy.
I have never seen somebody that is handsome and ugly at the same time like him. I have never seen anything like it in my life.
That's a tweetable quote right there. I've never seen someone so handsome and so ugly at the same time in my life.
Like it makes no sense. Like it makes no sense at all. And I also liked it in the trailer for what was it? Wrestling with My Family or whatever it was, how they poked fun at him. That was great. That was great.
I didn't get that. What is that?
Okay, so what is it? What's the Page movie that they're coming out with?
Okay, the Page movie. Yeah, but I haven't seen the trailer. No.
Yeah. So like when you watch the trailer, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. And he actually tweeted about it too, which was hilarious. But yeah, like this is going to be a great match. Like I don't think it's possible for this to not be a great match. There's going to be a ton of crazy spots. Like I know Ricochet is going to do another backflip and is going to get super kicked in the head because they're already spamming that move to death. That spot we're going to get tired of that in about a year.
He's jumping off the cage, isn't he?
He's going to jump off the cage. He's definitely jumping off the cage. Or he's going to pull some crazy shit where, you know,
off the cage of some
off
point.
The cage in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. But
okay, let me jump in really quick.
Yeah.
I was at last year's War Games.
Mm-hmm.
I was not a fan.
Okay.
Probably because I'm an old school WCW War Games guy.
Right.
Because I remember when Sid Vicious almost killed Brian Pillman in the cage.
Yeah.
Not realizing, dude, you're 6'9". Your power bomb puts him at 8 feet. The cage is only like 7.5 feet, like tall.
Right.
No, you know, or Arn Anderson being like the MVP of every freaking War Games he was ever in, you know. So when I was watching it last year live, just Sanity, AOP, Undisputed Era, didn't do much for me. I guess the WWE version of War Games. Now, if someone, you know what it is, if there were stakes involved, you know, I remember there was Abdul the Butcher wound up getting electrocuted by Mick Foley.
Jesus Christ.
Oh
my God.
You know, and I found out recently that there was a botch in that match because Foley, when he was Cactus Jack, he flipped the switch early, but nobody was in the seat. But you see him, if you're eagle-eyed, you can see him with his hand pushing the thing up instead of struggling to get there.
Right.
He's pushing it up, and it's like, whoops. Let's turn it back down. Right. he has to suddenly pull it back down or turn it off. And for me personally, just last year's War Games wasn't that great of a match. Am I gonna watch it? Sure.
Yeah.
Am I gonna need to run home and watch it? No, because where I'll be, and you'll appreciate this, I will be at Reality of Wrestling, Booker T's promotion in Houston.
Oh yeah,
on Saturday, and it's Ladies Night 4, so it's going to be all women's matches. And I'm a women's wrestling connoisseur,
right?
So that's what I'm going to be doing on Saturday. Tay is going to be on the card, so I'm looking forward to that. Right. Jordan Grace, not Jordan Grace. Jazz is appearing.
Right, I saw that.
And I've always been a Jazz fan.
Yeah, she is hands down one of the unsung heroes. She does not get nearly as much shine as because she kind of came later in the game.
Because Trish has gone on record and said Jazz was instrumental in her career because she kind of walked her through matches a lot, especially during the house show circuit.
Yeah. So, yeah. I know, if I piss people off, I don't care. Trish Stratus was never that great of a performer, period. She was not. Neither was Lita.
No, she wasn't.
Lita damn near killed herself on 99% of those backflips because she doesn't actually do a backflip. She just kind of leans backward and hopes that she falls on her stomach.
Right. It's a low fall.
It's a very low fall, and it's always looked really dangerous. So, Jacqueline and there were a bunch of folks that were really great that didn't get, Jacqueline got her due, but Jazz was really little powerhouse and was always great. Never remember seeing her mess up in ways, but yeah, hopefully someday she makes it into the Hall of Fame because she absolutely deserves it.
Yeah, but that's, for those interested, that's where I'm going to be because women's wrestling, you know me, man. Women's wrestling is my thing. Yep. So we're going to have Kylie Ray, Thunder Rosa, Jordan Grace, Sue Young, Kiera Hogan, because I know you love her.
Kiera Hogan's, that's because she's dope as fuck live. She's not, that's one of the few people that I've seen on Impact where they just really haven't shown what they can really do, in person. And she really is really great in person. Plus she's tiny, whole lot of ass, but she's 4'8". It's crazy.
And she's wrestling Ariel Monroe. And I've seen them wrestle before back in New York. And it was a slugfest. Yeah. So I can only imagine how this is going to be. So Ladies Night 4, Reality of Wrestling, World Gym Arena in Texas City, Texas, about maybe 40 minutes south of Houston, closer to Galveston. So if you're in that area or if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you want to take a 4-hour drive, be my guest because I'm jumping on the Greyhound, baby. And it's going. I mean, me and Melissa are going to jump on the Greyhound together, but at the same time, it's
Megabus down there.
They do.
Yo, do that shit because it'll be there dirt cheap. Megabus will cost you.
No, I checked the prices. I actually saved a little bit more money using Greyhound this time around.
Huh. Because you every now and then you'll catch a bride for $1.
Exactly.
Megabus.
I used to take Megabus from New York to DC for $3.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
If y'all got, Megabus is a little.
It's janky. It's janky. Very
okay, that's
janky.
The way you're gonna go with janky. Okay, yeah, cool. We'll go with that.
There's a word that I could say, but I'm trying to keep that out of my vocabulary.
I got you.
It's very janky. Yeah.
And I'd be remiss to mention this. I want to thank people who have reached out via Twitter and the DMs for trying to give me and Dio show ideas. Please keep that up because I love when we have free production.
Yeah.
Where we don't have to do copious show notes and it's hey, let's do this. Cool. And then that's it. So shout out to everybody who DMs me for show notes to do either on Damien G or on Podcast Champs. So much appreciative.
Yep. Oh yeah, there's one more match: Shayna versus Kyrie.
I don't care.
I do. I actually like their matches.
I don't like Kyrie.
I can see why. Yeah, I can definitely see why. She's
not our Kyrie.
Yeah, this
is some Final Fantasy 21 version of Kingdom Hearts Kyrie Sane for the WWE audience that looks like she's about to go into the boss fight, but she's the thief and she has great speed but no vitality. So she's going to die in 2 hits.
Yeah. That's accurate. That is actually very accurate.
You know what? Yeah. We should do an episode. I'll let you finish your point. We should do an episode comparing wrestlers to either video game characters in fighting games or RPGs.
I can do that shit all day.
Because I feel like that is an accurate description and depiction of all these wrestlers that pretty much are comic book characters. But
yeah, no, like and so that's the thing too. People like all this stuff. Rest in peace to Stan Lee. Like yeah, all of this stuff is comic book. Like everything is comic books and wrestling essentially when you boil it down. But anyhow, I have a feeling that this time around, especially since they've introduced the other two of the MMA. 4 Horsewomen, which I still hate. I still hate that name.
I don't know how they became that popular, dude.
Ronda Rousey is how they became popular. That's how.
Okay.
Continue. No, like there's no two ways about it because Jessamine Duke washed out of the UFC. Marina Shafir, as much of a crush as I had on her for the longest time, she was not good at fighting. She got knocked the fuck out on both of her pro fights, and I'm talking like. Lights out, like one of them. Well, now both of them, she got her head dribbled off the mat. It was bad, and like Shayna Baszler, So here's the thing about Shayna. A lot of people don't know. She is actually one of the pioneers of women's MMA as it is today. Like she was around. Shayna Baszler, if I remember correctly, she was fighting when I was in high school. Let me check her record real quick.
That means you and I are old if she was fighting when we were in high school.
She was fighting so she started fighting. Her first fight was October 31st of 2003. That is a few months after I graduated from high school.
Wow.
Right. And she fought a who's who of like Chris Hyborg's one of the, she's the 145-pound champ in the UFC right now. Yeah. She's fought everybody in MMA, basically, that was anybody for the longest time. So, like, while Ronda was the one that brought women's MMA to the forefront, Shayna was the one that laid the groundwork for her. So, like, always have respect for her that way. But, like, they were, like, essentially Jessamine and Marina were hangers-on. Like they had it not been for being friends with Ronda, they wouldn't have gotten they wouldn't have gotten the opportunities that they did. Right.
So are you saying they were the Triple H and X-Pac of the clique?
Absolutely. but less so. It was like X-Pac and X-Pac.
Oh wow. Okay, never mind.
No, like I'm like Marina. Like I'm not saying like because Marina Shafir actually did. She has her own credentials in judo, just like Ronda does. She didn't get to the same level as Ronda as far as like Olympics and things go. But like when it comes to like fighting, like, mixed martial arts, there's no comparison. Jessamine Duke had a couple of standout performances, but then once she met anybody that was worth anything, it was just like, nope.
It's over.
It's over. So like it would be one thing like if you took like Daniel Cormier is the UFC heavyweight and light heavyweight champion right now. So say you took him, then you took like his arch nemesis John Jones, and then you took like one of the other top two right now and put them into a clique. It would make sense to call them the Horsemen because they are the top of the game. These four, only one of them has ever been at the top of the game. So it was like, for me, it was like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That these are the 4 horsewomen. They're the 4 horsewomen because Ronda Rousey is a pro wrestling fan and decided to go with that. So yeah. So yeah, it's yeah.
So all in all, I guess that's probably the only match worth the salt, of both characters for you or both performers.
I like the chemistry that the two have, and now that there's going to be that interference, wouldn't be surprised if Io Shirai shows up to even things up, or maybe somebody else will show up as well. Absolutely would not be surprised if we saw that. And then I would actually really that would be cool to introduce, if they wanted to introduce a faction of Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, like, sure, the optics wise, they're the two Japanese women that are there, but like they're friends, so it would make sense. But yeah, like it could end up being shitty as well, because I know you don't really like them.
You know me by now, dude.
Right, but like Shayna has become good enough that I think she could actually, she could probably just carry the match herself if she wanted to. And like if they let Kairi off the leash the way that they let Io Shirai off the leash
at Evolution,
yes. Then that will be madness.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then I'll sign off again.
Yeah, fine. Like if they let, because I think I have a feeling that that's what happened. What they've finally come to notice with stuff is like, we actually need to let these people, sure, we made her this pirate princess, but like, pirates also like pillaged and plundered. So,
yes. So let her do that.
Let her do that. Like, let her go on conquest, stealing the belt and such, right? So yeah, I think it could be good. There's only like one match where I'm really like, and that would be the Aleister Black Johnny Gargano, and that's mainly because I just don't really get. I'm not really a super fan of Johnny Gargano, and like plus that story, it took so long. It just took so long that it killed any interest that I had in it, especially when I already knew that it was going to be Johnny Gargano. Like, because
he was the one coming through the door when Regal was going outside.
Exactly. Like it was so obvious. Like the whole thing was just like, I'm like, all right, bro, whatever. And it took it's been like almost 3 months now.
Yeah.
That they've been doing this. Like that's not
because it was supposed to be SummerSlam. So
right.
Yeah, September,
that's
October,
way too long to be trying to stretch this stuff out. Right, like that's just way too long for that. So
all in all, let's put NXT to bed real quick and just say that you're not looking forward to that match.
But the rest I am.
Yeah, you're not looking for. Well, no, you're not looking forward to War Raiders in general.
War Raiders in general, but like I still think the match is going to be great.
All right.
Yeah, like I'm not a fan of the character work because I don't know what their characters are.
Yeah,
like that's the other thing. So
the Highlanders, that's
right. Like I know what they're. Actually, I don't even know what their gimmick is, because like they look like, so they're just like Thor in Thor Ragnarok, with like, because their face paint is exact, because they changed that up like right around when Ragnarok happened. It's like, oh, okay, now they're drawing it like that now. So like I kind of get the gimmick, but I don't really know what the character is at this point.
Are they LARPing?
They might be LARPing. They might just be LARPing. Like they might need to, if they come out with like, with foam axes and stuff like that, then it's
that would be so hilarious.
Then we'll know exactly what's
I'd be more interested in it if they were having foam axes and foam swords.
Absolutely.
So the end of the end of that. At the end of NXT, let's just say this. Do you think this will be a milestone pay-per-view or just a throwaway?
I don't think it's going to be a throwaway. No, I don't know if it's going to be a milestone, but I think it's going to be, it'll definitely be upper echelon. Yeah. Okay. Like most takeovers, deliver. Like there's been very few where it's like, but this card is essentially made to, be really good. And like, with Gargano and Aleister Black, even though I'm not kind of on it, like they've both still had really great matches, and they know how to like really, draw you in as a fan in bigger matches. Yeah. So wouldn't be surprised if that one turns out to be great. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be like a legendary type card or anything like that, but I think it'll live up to it. And like, there's no way. Yeah, that's the other thing too. There's no way to live up to what War Games was back when we were kids, because like they just threw dudes into a cage and were like, figure the shit out. Like literally, I think like first War Games, one of the guys that was involved could no longer wrestle after it because he got his shit fucked up. So yeah, like we just, since we're talking about people being unsafe in the ring, War Games was tailor-made for being unsafe back then. So, yeah.
So you're saying we're one pay-per-view away from a women's war game match, and Nia Jax and Charlotte and Dana Brooke and anyone who's been known to be super botcherific.
Anybody that's been like basically that, like if you're gonna say, because then they're gonna say you got to throw Sasha in that too, right? True. Got to throw Sasha in that too, and Sasha's another one that received an exorbitant amount of hate compared to like other people. And so if that's the other thing with Sasha too is, oh well, she only got that because she's Snoop Dogg's cousin. That's another.
That's right.
Another one that pops up too, right? So yeah. It's one of those things. But
so before we get out of here, any last minute hot takes that you want to just start shooting off?
Last minute hot takes. Other than like the usual stuff, Bianca Belair is a future champion. So is Mia Yim. I'm loving the fact. Oh yeah, actually no. Back to the whole Becky Lynch thing, right? Mm-hmm. The legend of Becky Lynch is like it. With each growing day, it keeps getting bigger and bigger. Even if she's out for however long it is, it looks just. Me being a fight fan, since the gash was in between her nose, it's probably a broken nose and an interorbital fracture. Mm-hmm. So those tend to heal up pretty quickly. So I don't think she'll be out for a crazy amount of time. And like when it's face stuff, you can still do things. Like it's different than like if you blow an ACL or you tear a rotator cuff, where like that's something that moves all the time. You know, facial bones don't move. So yeah, but like. It has been like, while yes, it was fucked up that it happened. Had that not happened, we wouldn't have gotten the Bloody Becky moment. Like that's
iconic, dude.
That is so, and that was the other thing too. This wasn't just, I didn't just see people that were in pro wrestling sharing this. I saw people that have nothing to do, that I have never seen like tweet about pro wrestling. I saw women that were like it was on one of the like blogs for nerds of color were like, mm-hmm. That's the only Becky that I that I recognized, right? So like it was one of those transcendent moments, because like just simple fact that you have this woman bloody face just standing there defiantly was like amazing. Like that reminded. And because of everybody was talking about the Stone Cold Steve Austin when he got busted open and was in the sharpshooter and refused to tap. Like that's one of those iconic visuals that you have in pro wrestling that makes a character. And had this situation not happened, we wouldn't have had this. Yeah, you know, Becky still would have been. She would have ended up eating that L on Sunday, but like we wouldn't have had what it is now. And like now we're going to end up, this could lead to an even more epic WrestleMania event, right? Like mm-hmm. This is like, yeah, sure, everybody knows, you know, the WWE has a thing for blondes as their champion, so it's going to be Ronda Rousey and Charlotte. But like, did any of us really want to see Charlotte versus Ronda? No. But do we want to see anybody versus Becky Lynch? Absolutely. Because Becky Lynch is just the hottest commodity in pro wrestling right now.
And just think, like we said last week on Podcast Champs, Kevin Dunn thought she wasn't marketable enough because her accent was too confusing to hear on promos on SmackDown Live.
Have y'all seen what Kevin Dunn looks like? This is the man that gets to that makes the decision on whether people, especially women, if they have the look that would work on TV. Not exactly the best looking person on earth, right? Like, and if you hear what people say about him, he should not be doing his job. Like, there are so many people that are in Vince's inner circle that should no longer be doing their jobs because they are trapped in the 80s. They have these old, weird, antiquated thoughts on what things should be and how they should stay and all this other stuff. But it's like, bruh, y'all would have missed out on probably one of the hottest acts that you guys have had in pro wrestling in like the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen an ascent this quickly of a character in a long time. Like, and it's organic too. That's the other thing. Like, it's not like how they try to force it with Roman Reigns, which I hope he gets better as quickly as possible because fuck cancer. But like in this situation with him, and when this is the only thing that I kind of fear may happen when it comes to injury, especially if she's off for a long period of time. So when the Shield broke up, right, and everybody split off to do their own thing, and Roman was getting a major push, and then he got the hernia that happened, and he was out for like 3 or 4 months.
I remember. Mm-hmm.
Remember, nobody was booing Roman back then. Nobody was booing him. Right after the Shield broke up, when he sat there and got into the corner and did his ooh-ah, we all screamed ooh-ah with him. Like, we were still on the train, and he was off TV. And that's the thing where I don't think it will happen, because Becky's going to constantly be on social media and will make sure that she is constantly on TV still talking that trash.
Yeah.
With Roman, he was just gone. And all that momentum that he had built up was gone because it had been switched over to somebody else. Because that's right around when like Kevin Owens and other people came onto the roster and people fell in love with him instantly, right? And then when Roman came back, they just try to shove him back into the picture exactly where he was when he left. And that's never a good thing, right? Like, you've been chasing, so essentially, like, you know the terminology when it comes to like heroin addicts, right? Chasing the dragon. Like, you're always chasing. They were constantly trying to chase that high that they had for him, and it just didn't work. You know, you are never going to attain that type of feeling again, that kind of crowd reaction, you know, the way that they were going about it. Now, I am kind of afraid that it could happen with Becky if she does end up being off TV for a long period of time.
Yes.
But being that a lot of her character work has been done on social media, because she gets social media. Like, there are a lot of people that don't understand how social media works, Ronda Rousey being one of them. But Becky understands it. And whether it's just like, you know, dealing with like talking to like Rhea Ripley on, you know, from NXT.
And I don't like her either.
I don't either. Yeah. Like, I get it. She's got like, obviously she's blonde, so the WWE already it's a plus for the WWE there. But like, she's got the physique, you know, she's got a look that people you know, are aesthetically pleasing and such. But like, you know, I'm in ring wise this year has kind of just been it's been all right.
Well, I just want to say my 2 cents on Rhea Ripley. Ever since Melissa said that she looks or resembles Jay White, I can't get it out of my head now. So yeah, now it hits you now too. Yeah, there you go. She resembles Jay White.
Yeah, I can see it. It's the cheekbones. Damn it, man.
And for anyone who doesn't know who Jay White is, it's Switchblade in New Japan.
Yeah, which I actually like Switchblade. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I like Switchblade.
I like him as a worker, and you know what I like about New Japan? I'm sorry, guys. I know we said we're going to get out of here, but what I like about New Japan is after a match, when they do the post-match interviews, Mofos is legitimately heated during the post-match interviews. They cuss, they scream, they yell,
right?
And I'm here for it. I wish more promotions did stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Especially on like, it could, like, you need more of that. And while I understand, like, because especially over in Japan, because they know not everybody understands English, so they can just say whatever the hell they want, essentially, right? But like, yeah, like it's one of the greatest things. Because like, if you go back and look at like Finn, because that's the thing. everybody forgets that, like a lot of folks forget that Finn was in New Japan as Prince Devitt, right? And like, go back and look at his old promos, cursing up a storm. Like, it is the craziest thing. Like, the most shocking thing that he does now is just try to show his penis off every weekend. Like, anytime he is on camera, like Finn has like his other finishing move, not just, you know, the whatever the double stomp is, but the other finishing move is showing his dick. Like, every damn time. Dick right there in the camera. Wow. Like, my guy, come on now. We get it.
You know what? I think Finn Balor's penis is the perfect time to end this episode of Podcast Champs.
I feel like we're watching Howard Stern. Baba Booey, Baba Booey. Finn Balor's penis. Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
Finn Balor's penis. Penis. Vagina.
There we go.
And if you don't know the reference, look it up on Google. That's from a movie.
Yep.
But as always, you have been listening to Podcast Champs. Your boys, Dio and Damien, the Double D Squad. Take it how you will. Almost like Ed and Nettie. We're going to talk video games. We're going to talk RPGs and anime and all. I miss anime, dude. I miss talking about that with you.
Oh, yeah, I got plenty. of stuff to show you.
Here's a little homework assignment I'm going to do. And I know it doesn't really count as anime. Let's watch Castlevania on Netflix. I haven't seen season 2 yet. So bananas.
It's bananas. Like, season 1, like, just the animation in season 1 is crazy. Like, the fight that he had with Alucard when he first met Alucard. And
yes.
Like, you know, Alucard was treating him like a bitch, and then he cracked him in the mouth with a whip. I was like, well, I'm sold. I'm sold. I am here for it.
And I was only upset because it was only like 4 episodes.
Yeah, so you get like I think it's 8 episodes this time around. It's really good. It's more story driven this time. We learn a lot about everything. So yeah, it's really good.
So
I'm gonna go watch it again.
And I'm gonna watch it in preparation for next week's Podcast Champs. So next week we'll probably talk NXT, talk a little bit of Survivor Series because it's gonna be trash, and a little bit of Castlevania. So again, Damien G347 on Twitter. I'm just DEO for Dio on Twitter. Catch us, SoundCloud, YouTube, all over the place. Thanks for listening, folks. Later.